Welcome back for our final module in this sleep and nutrition masterclass. Hopefully you are already brimming with ideas as to how you can implement some nutrition strategies to support you in having quality sleep. But if not, then in this module I'm going to share an action plan with you, including dinner, snack and dessert ideas and how to stay accountable with this. But first, let's review our nutrition strategies so far. To improve our sleep through nutrition, we can eat dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed. We can make sure that it's a moderate portion of food. I recommend no caffeine after 12 p.m. because the effects of caffeine being a stimulant can last in our body up to 10 hours. We want to be including tryptophan in our evening meal, so sources of protein are a good source of tryptophan because tryptophan is an amino acid. We want to be including carbohydrates alongside the protein to help with tryptophan absorption. And finally, we want to be eating magnesium-rich foods because magnesium gets converted into melatonin in our body, which is the hormone responsible for making us feel sleepy. Now, if you're thinking that some of these strategies are impractical for your life, let's see what we can do about that. Because it really is so important that you make these strategies work for you in your lifestyle. Because if not, then you won't benefit from them as they're too hard to sustain long term. And that's what we want, right? We want long-term healthy habits. So if it's not possible to eat dinner 2 to 3 hours before sleep, maybe this is due to work or family commitments, whatever it is, you can try reducing your dinner portion size. So even though you're still eating at the same time, your digestive system won't have to work as hard and it'll allow you to get a better quality of sleep. To make sure that you're still getting sufficient energy during the day and not restricting overall calories, you can try having a bigger breakfast and lunch instead. And this will also support your energy levels better actually, because this means you're providing your body with more energy throughout the daytime when you are working and moving around and you actually need it. It's actually very weird and makes less sense that our biggest meal of the day tends to be dinner anyway. So if it's not possible to eat earlier, that's absolutely fine. You can just try having a smaller portion. So over the next two slides, I am going to be sharing some great sources of tryptophan with you to include in your dinners. Remember, we know that tryptophan is an amino acid which gets converted into melatonin and serotonin in the body, these hormones that allow us to feel sleepy. And because it is an amino acid, this means that we find it in protein-rich foods. So here I am sharing with you and it's some examples of tryptophan from both animal sources, and also in the next slide we've got plant-based sources. So there is something for everyone, no matter what your dietary requirement. Animal sources do tend to be richer in tryptophan, but if you are vegetarian, please do not think that this is a problem to not consume meat for this reason. It is absolutely fine, and there are lots of health benefits to consuming plant-based protein anyway. So these slides are just a super good reference point for you really to come back to when you are planning your meals. Try and consider which of these you can include in your dinner or dessert. So for each of these, I'm sharing with you the calories and the amount of tryptophan for an average serving size of each food. So we've got turkey, chicken, salmon and Greek yogurt in terms of animal sources of tryptophan. And then for the plant-based sources, we've got pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, red lentils and quinoa. So then we've got the same thing here for sources of magnesium. Again, I've included animal sources and plant-based sources as well. And one thing you will notice is that lots of these overlap with the tryptophan foods, which is great news. So here we've got chicken and salmon, the pumpkin seeds, and also the quinoa. Which are all great sources of tryptophan, and they're great sources of magnesium as well. So include these superfoods in your dinners to support your sleep. Another interesting thing that you may notice is that whilst the animal sources were high in tryptophan, the plant-based magnesium sources contain much more magnesium than the animal sources. So hopefully you can see from this that there is no right or wrong. It's not that black and white. It's just about including beneficial foods, and you can do that no matter what your diet is. If you eat meat, I highly recommend that you eat lots of plant-based foods as well anyway, as we know that's what provides the most health benefits. So yeah, the focus really is on inclusion, not exclusion. What can we include to benefit our nutrition and benefit our sleep and our health rather than thinking about what we're excluding? This is always a much better way to a healthy life, in my opinion. On all of these slides, I've included the daily reference intake table from Module 2, so you can have it for a comparison based on how much magnesium the food contains and how much you need to consume in total throughout the day. So whether you're male, female, and then I've also included the reference intakes for pregnancy and lactation here as well, in case that applies to you. So moving on from specific foods that provide you with these specific nutrients, I have designed for you 3 dinners that include all the key elements of these nutritional strategies that we've been talking about. So my first dinner idea is salmon with quinoa and stir-fried veg. So you can air fry the salmon to keep it lower calorie and lower in fat, because we already have really good fatty acids in the salmon itself. So we don't necessarily need the extra oil, but the air fryer gives you that amazing flavour still. And the salmon provides tryptophan and magnesium to support your sleep hormones. The quinoa also provides tryptophan and is a source of carbohydrates, which helps the tryptophan be absorbed, as insulin removes all the other amino acids from the bloodstream, so tryptophan can be converted into serotonin and melatonin more easily. And quinoa is also a source of magnesium. So what a superfood. Quinoa is one of the best things you could be eating for your dinner. And then we have stir-fried broccoli and mushrooms and spinach on the side to add our colourful veg and some fibre to our plate as well, which are also plant-based sources of tryptophan and magnesium. So what a super meal that we have here. Dinner option number 2, and I think this one could be great for families. So we've got a turkey burger with salad on the side. So the turkey burger patty is a great source of tryptophan. We've got the whole grain bread, which is a source of carbohydrates to aid tryptophan absorption. And we've got guacamole on there as well, maybe, and avocado is a source of magnesium. And then of course we've got the salad on the side, just for overall health benefits. Salad contains fibre, lots of other vitamins and minerals, and it's hydrating as well, because most salad leaves tend to have quite a high water content. Cucumber as well, and tomatoes. If you have a higher calorie requirement, if you're quite active, you can absolutely add some potato or sweet potato wedges on the side here too, for extra carbohydrates to support tryptophan absorption and a higher energy need. But remember to keep portion size moderate, as we don't want to keep our digestive system awake. My third dinner idea is fully vegan, so it's great for vegans, vegetarians, and also even if you are a meat eater, I recommend you include this in your weekly meals because it's great to mix your protein sources up. Lentil dal, so lentils are a source of tryptophan and carbohydrates. The wilted spinach, we can wilt that through the dal, gives it a nice pop of colour, and the spinach is also a source of magnesium. And brown rice, source of carbs to support tryptophan absorption. For even more health benefits, you can add some extra veg on the side here, maybe some broccoli or even some roasted carrots with lots of spices as a flavourful topper. All of these dinner ideas say plus loads more health benefits, and this is because food is always more than the sum of its parts, meaning that these meals aren't just good for the nutrients that we're talking about, they have countless health benefits beyond that for all aspects of health and a happy life. So coming on to a snack idea, I thought a berry protein shake could be a really tasty idea here. You can use whey protein powder, as this is a great source of tryptophan, and you can make it with either dairy milk, almond milk or water depending on your preference. So the dairy milk's a good source of tryptophan, almond milk's a good source of magnesium, or if you want to keep it lower calorie and lighter, if it's right before bed, then you can make it with water. And this could be a great option if you exercise late in the evening and you want to refuel after, but you don't want something too heavy. because you're still going to hit those key nutrient requirements to support your muscle repair and have a good sleep. And cherries and berries contain fructose, which is fruit sugar, and will help the tryptophan absorption. And these are also a source of magnesium, so there's so much good stuff going on here. If you didn't want to use whey protein, you could use a vegan protein powder. You would just need to check the ingredients for tryptophan. Or if you want a non-supplement option, you could use cottage cheese instead of protein powder, which is a great source of protein and tryptophan as well. And finally, this dessert idea is a yogurt bowl with banana for carbs, and then almond butter is a great source of tryptophan and magnesium. The same with goes for pumpkin and chia seeds. And you can have a chamomile tea alongside this maybe as a no caffeine hot drink to wind down and relax. This looks super delicious, this picture on the right. This is something that I have quite a lot if I do evening exercise. I can come back and have this yogurt bowl with banana, and the almond butter is really great for supporting my sleep after exercise. So hopefully some of these ideas tickle your taste buds, or maybe they've inspired you to think of other ideas, or maybe you are even realizing that some of your existing dinners already hit many of the key points, which is even better when you're thinking about designing these new healthier dinners to support your sleep. It's a good idea to not completely change everything all at once. Think about what you already eat and just add foods to them to make them healthier, because it's a lot more sustainable and enjoyable and less stressful this way. But if you are thinking that this is just all way too much effort, then there is the option of supplementation as well. There are advantages and disadvantages here. So let's go through these. The advantages of the food first approach and constructing these healthy meals that we've just been talking about are they have a greater overall health benefit. They're often more effective due to nutrient synergy. So this is what we're talking about when we say food is greater than the sum of its parts. We can't fully understand how all the different nutrients and phytochemicals and everything within the food works together. But we know that that is more beneficial for us than a supplement. Taste and enjoyment, let's not forget about that. So if you're having this as a tasty snack, I know for myself, I'm definitely getting more enjoyment for that, and I'm enjoying that flavour than just popping a pill in the morning for the supplements. And it's a sustainable health solution as well. So we don't necessarily want to be taking supplements our entire life. So it's a good habit to get into. This food first approach if you can, and it's often cheaper, so we have to eat anyway, right? So if we eat these foods, then we're also giving ourselves energy, we're repairing our muscles and providing ourselves with good, healthy, balanced meals, as well as supporting our health, whereas that's not necessarily the case with supplementation. However, with supplementation, it can be so much easier. It is more convenient for a lot of people, because it takes less time and preparation. You don't have to think about it as much. It can also help you meet specific nutrient needs if you know that you need that. And it can be more accessible for some people in terms of seasonal availability. You know, maybe you can't get salmon all year round, or the quality of the spinach or the broccoli or whatever for your magnesium, maybe that's not great quality all year round, or maybe in terms of shortages of certain ingredients in the shops. With supplements, at least you know that you're getting those key nutrients in. So you can weigh up these options based on what is sustainable for your lifestyle, for those long-term health benefits. But having said that, I really would recommend that you at least partially take a food first approach, which we're going to talk about a little more on this next slide. So if you choose supplementation, these are the options to consider. You could take magnesium tablets or capsules, melatonin tablets, or you can get like gummies as well, little melatonin sweets. And this would just be to cut straight to that end hormone rather than our body converting the magnesium into melatonin. This isn't necessarily better, it's just an option. Protein supplements, obviously you've got your protein powders, and for tryptophan, you can get tryptophan tablets, but this is obviously in protein powder as well. And then lavender. So this is a non-oral option. It's not something that we would necessarily consume as a food, but lots of research proves lavender to be relaxing. And there's lots of products like shower gels and lavender moisturizers and pillow scents and sprays that you can buy really cheaply to help you relax around bedtime. I think you can get lavender tea as well, so maybe you could have a cup of this as a bedtime ritual. But like I mentioned, I really do recommend you take at least a partial food first approach, but it is important to find a balance that works for you, and it's always good to know your options, right? So to summarize a little bit, we can combine practical recommendations and nutrition strategies for optimal sleep. We should still do all these things on the left, like sleep in a cool dark room, wear blue light blocking glasses, reduce screen time before bed, utilize the lavender products, and we can nap to contribute to total sleep time. But we can improve our sleep even further when we implement these nutrition strategies. So lighter meals before bed, a smaller portion size for our last meal, eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, consuming the tryptophan, the carbohydrates, the magnesium, and no caffeine. And please do refer back to these videos for the food and the meal ideas. You don't need to remember these. The info is right here for you to access whenever you want. So to help you implement these strategies and keep you accountable, we have designed an action plan for you. And these are super simple things you can do and probably do anyway, but the idea is if you're conscious of them and mindful to set them as a priority in your weekly routine, you are going to see huge improvements in your health as you will be more consistent with these healthy actions. So you can plan your meals at the start of the week. Maybe you make sure on a Sunday you plan your meals, you then make a shopping list based on this, and you go to the shops and get all the ingredients. Whilst you are at the shop, I would recommend that you stock up on some foods like nuts and seeds and almond butter, which are packed with our key nutrients for sleep. And these last in your cupboard for ages, so it makes sense to stock up so they're always on hand. As part of your Sleep Nutrition Masterclass, we are providing you with a shopping list template, which has a section specifically for stocking up your cupboards with these sleep-supporting foods, so that you can make sure that they're always on hand and accessible for your meals and snacks. You can also consider what existing habits you have in your evening. Maybe you sit down to watch TV about 8 every night, or maybe you always prepare breakfast or lunch for the next day. Maybe you read before bed. Whatever it is, use those existing habits to attach new habits to, as this is how they become embedded in your life, and you remember to do them automatically. And if you want to learn more about this process, I highly recommend reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's quite a popular book at the minute, and it's really good to explain this habit stacking process. We are also sharing with you 2 other accountability sheets and checklists. So you can stick these on your fridge and get your family involved, or you can share, you can find an accountability buddy to make sure that you're ticking things off. And one is an accountability table where you can write down the different foods that you included in your evening meal as sources of tryptophan, magnesium, and carbohydrates, and also to control a moderate portion size for easy digestion. And then the other sheet is a guideline for you to note down how you feel after eating these sleep-supporting meals, whether you notice your energy levels change, or your mood, or your motivation, because this allows you to start making those associations for yourself and work out what works best for you in particular. So these things are all going to help you implement these nutrition strategies for sleep into your lifestyle so that you can really benefit from long-lasting improvement in your sleep and energy levels. I really do hope you have enjoyed this sleep and nutrition masterclass, and that you're coming away feeling empowered and educated with the knowledge to create your own nutritious meals to support your sleep and find out what works for you. And also that you really resonate with the benefits of how this is going to improve your day-to-day life. I hope you find the accountability tools super useful, use them, and eat well, sleep well, and feel well. And a huge thank you from myself and the team for joining this masterclass. Thank you, everybody.